Hi, are you ready for the next passage? Again, I'm going to read a passage from a book, and if you know the book title, go ahead and email me at eclectic.eccentric@hotmail.com. Here's the passage. Yes? She inquired with icy politeness. Well, continued the young man, I'm kind of new to this whole Bronte thing, but I had trouble with the end of Jane Eyre. Trouble? Yeah, like Jane leaves Thornfield Hall and hitches up with her cousins, the Riverses. I know who her cousins are, young man. Yeah, well, she agrees to go with this drippy St. John Rivers guy, but not to marry him. They depart for India, and that's the end of the book? Hello? What about a happy ending? What happens to Rochester and his nutty wife? The guide glowered. And what would you prefer? The forces of good and evil fighting to the death in the corridors of Thornfield Hall? That's not what I meant, continued the young man, beginning to get slightly annoyed. It's just that the book cries out for a strong resolution, to tie up the narrative and finish the tale. I get the feeling from what she wrote that she just kind of pooped out. The guide stared at him for a moment through her steel-rimmed glasses and wondered why the visitors couldn't behave just that little bit more like sheep. Sadly, his point was a valid one. She herself had often pondered the diluted ending, wishing, like millions of others, that circumstances had allowed Jane and Rochester to marry after all. Some things will never be known, she replied noncommittally. Charlotte is no longer with us, so the question is abstract. What we have to study and enjoy is what she has left us. The sheer exuberance of the writing easily outweighs any of its small shortcomings. The young American nodded, and the small crowd moved on, my aunt and uncle among them. I hung back until only I and a single Japanese tourist were left in the room. I then tried to look at the original manuscript on tiptoe. It was tricky, as I was small for my age. Would you like me to read it for you? Said a kindly voice close at hand. It was the Japanese tourist. She smiled at me, and I thanked her for her trouble. She checked that no one was around, unfolded her reading glasses, and started to speak. She spoke excellent English and had a fine reading voice. The words peeled off the page into my imagination as she spoke. That's the end of the passage, and I hope you know the title of the book, and email me at eclectic.eccentric@hotmail.com.